Okay, so this is an example. I want to tell you what it's an example of, but.
Hey, are we recording? Oh, whoa, something's not right here. Give me a sec. Yeah, that's looking, I'm not sure. Oh, wait a sec. Whoops. Yeah, I think we're about ready now. Oh, hey, hang on. Hello. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. Okay. Yeah, we'll get working on that. I gotta go. I'm recording my pitch video. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, pull out a sheet of paper if you've got one, and write down what was not the best practice for recording. Want to see it again and do it? Okay, you got it. What did it start with? The video was like all over. Now, do you know how much video horsepower and computing horsepower it takes to do what you just saw? That's Zoom's cloud. So they do that without missing a beat. So they can flip it. So if you have something that you want to show on an angle, not necessarily, I guess, or an orthogonal angle, you can do something like that. How about the audio? It was terrible. You know, it went off. What about distractions? You know, several of my students were recording pitch videos, and okay, how many have watches that speak to you? You know, like iWatches and things like that. You know, it's like the best thing to be in a conversation, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm back. You know, it's like, turn that off, because it's actually going off during the pitch video, and they're trying to turn it off, and it's like, okay, that's a script. What about the lighting? That lighting right behind me. So you'll see this later on. If you have lighting behind you, it's like you're in the witness protection program. You know, the contrast is such that you don't see, or the video, the webcam, or the camera doesn't pick you up. And the background was noisy. You know, it was not only noisy with the lights behind, but you know, it was two walls of an office, and there's things on the office door. So you're trying to pitch, you're trying to get people's attention on you and what you're saying, and they're looking around and going, oh, that's a cool book. I read that thing 3 years ago. How cool is that? You know, I really like this guy. Audio wasn't set up, took a phone call. Okay, so those are the obvious ones. What else?
To relax, like,
Exactly. What else was there?
professional.
Yeah, I mean, this is fine. You don't necessarily see genes. You know, this is a bad example. But, you know, put on something from waist up so you look professional. You know, so you got it. Really subtle. How many saw that I hadn't shaved? See? Clean yourself up. Yeah, okay. How long do you have to make a first impression?
10 seconds. 5 seconds. 3, 7, 8.
8 seconds. You walk in, People are sizing you up. They're sizing up your body language. They're sizing up your dress. They're sizing up how you speak. So you literally have 8 seconds. And how many opportunities do you have to make a first impression? Once. Bam. And if you blow it, it is really hard to go back and undo that first impression. Who saw something else besides just what's up here in that video? Stacy, you missed it, but sorry, it was some of my best work. Excellent. What's it? Anything else that you would do? Well, let's keep it. So, have you ever been asked to give a presentation when you've been double booked or triple booked and you couldn't be there? Anybody? Yeah, I know. It happens all the time. Happened to me, and you'll see that in a bit. So let's take a look at, that was a PowerPoint slide, and I just read it.
Have you ever been asked to give a presentation when you were double or triple booked, which required you to be 2 places at once?
Well, sure. So what I did is I used Zoom. I shared my screen. That's the screen I shared. I turned on voice. I turned off video. And I was able to record this. And it comes out in an MP4 file. You can take that MP4 file and you can go insert video in a PowerPoint from your computer, because it's saved on my computer, or if it's online, you just link to it and you put it in. Boom. That's it. Well, let's see. Part of the pitch deck competition requires you to put in your mug, to have something there. So let's go one more.
Well, that wasn't too bad. Let's start looking at how we can do video. Now, you can see that there's a relatively noisy background back here. So I can travel, and there's the Golden Gate Bridge. We can go do that.
Just set up your virtual background.
Go down to grasshopper size. Outer space. Nice view up there. Looks beautiful. Or we could do a solid blue, red, gold. Actually, I'm going to dive down here.
Who are those guys? That's me. Yeah, they are friends. They're really good friends. I was a speaker at Zoomtopia in October, and we had partnered with Zoom for 5 years at that time, and they helped us grow. So I presented a plaque to actually my good friends. The guy on this side is that's Greg Holmes. He's the director of marketing. He was one of the early employees in Zoom. This is Nick Chong. He was one of the early developers at Zoom. And the guy right here, he's one of the most famous CEOs in the world right now. Who knows who that is? Starts with Eric and it ends with Yuan. Look him up. His company was just rated some of the happiest employees ever, and it's Zoom.us. So we partnered with Zoom when they were a little tiny company, and they've never forgotten it. We negotiated in good faith. So anyways, this was a picture. The message here is don't use this as your background. It's way too busy. And so I'll just keep going.
Anyone know who those folks are? Left to right? Well, I'll tell you in a bit. Or this. Now those last two are just terrible.
Okay, yeah, so this one's me at the Worldwide Echo Conference called the Meta Echo Conference. I was giving a talk and some photographer took a picture of me and I got it on LinkedIn. And you don't want to use that. That's horrible too, as I just said. But let's see what this thing looks like if you keep going.
Well, that wasn't too bad. Now those last two are just terrible for backgrounds. So let's just go here. Now, the other thing we want to think about is, do we want to be down here? Do we want to be up here? We want to be just about like this. So your eyes are about two-thirds of the way up from the bottom and a third from the top. I can do that. And you're centered. Now, some people like to do this. Some people like to do that. Some people just naturally move back and forth.
Sometimes you're Italian, you know.
But you can do this against a solid wall as well. So let's try that same thing where I am going to.
All right. So this is the virtual background, and it's not quite optimal. I had some hair sticking up, and what happens is you get aliasing around, and you see some ghosting. It looks like, you know, my head's ready to explode. This, if you have a green screen and do this, it's much better. But the easiest thing to do, and what I'm just recommending, is go up against a wall like this, boom, and record. And you've got the solid wall, and you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So let's see what this looks like.
I'm just going to pause some things, and then I'll be right back. Have you ever been asked to give a presentation when you were double or triple booked, which required you to be two places at once? All right.
Okay, so who's got questions about what we've gone over so far? Somebody had a question. Please.
I have a quick question about, so in terms of, my sense of it is when a student's going to do one of these things where they have to send in a, that they're just going to stand against the wall. But is that better to have a white wall or a colored wall? And then is there any difference in terms of?
There's tons. It just depends how
You don't
how much experience you have with video editing.
Right.
What I recommend, the Rainforest classroom is right down there. That's where I used to teach Create.Sell.Bank until I moved up here. And that has blue walls. And it's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful to have a blue wall. It's absolutely beautiful to have a white wall. Don't stand in front of the rainforest, rules of the rainforest. Don't stand in front of this because you think that'll help. It doesn't. You're trying to get them, remember, you have 8 seconds to capture their attention. And the last thing you want is while you're trying to capture their attention, that you're having people look left and right, things like that.
So in that same vein, you wouldn't suggest having like the picture of a jungle or anything?
No. I'm just showing you can do that.
It's just that's too busy. It distracts, right?
It is, but it is fabulous for a, I use the, Earthrise. I use that picture as my background for my Zoom video conferencing. And people are all like, whoa, that is so cool. You know, and it's like, yeah. So, let me see, somebody, hello. Okay, so we've started off, and we didn't, I didn't introduce myself. Now, how many have ever heard a 30-second commercial? How many have ever heard a 60-second commercial? How many have ever heard less than 1,000 of those in their lifetime? Yeah, I mean, they're all over the place. Almost zero of them start off, hi, I'm Bill Szaroletta. Who cares? Nobody cares. What do they care about? They care about what's your problem? Why are you even thinking of, why are you talking to me? You know, we want to know what your problem. So open up with a question. And you'll see this later on. We'll talk about it. But open up with an example. Open up with something that demonstrates the problem that you're going to solve with the pitch, with the company that you are pitching, or your company that you have in your slide deck. That's exactly what you want to do. do? So, anyways, this normally is a start to a video. Usually you have an intro and you have an outro, and you use these things. So this is how to create a decent student pitch competition and pitch deck competition video recording. So after this, you should be able to create a decent recording that will come out. Now we're going to focus on Zoom, and we're going to focus on how to use Zoom. So as I was saying before, some of the times you're live in front of an audience. Sometimes you're going to have to construct a recording of your voice so that you can be virtual. And other times, you got to have your content, your image, your background music that you want to put in your presentation. And we're going to touch on how to do all of that so you can see how it goes. And let's just keep going. So, some of the types of recordings, you saw some of them. You speaking and showing a PowerPoint, your voice and showing a PowerPoint. We're going to see your voice showing a PowerPoint with music in the background. And there's many other combinations that you can do. And they come across really well. And if you know how to do them, and I'm going to show you simple steps, they're so powerful. And oftentimes you make one presentation, but you wish somebody's not there and you want to show them that presentation. Well, if you have the ability to record it, you can do those types of things. Now, core to a presentation, core to a pitch is writing it. There is a rare person that can extemporaneously just come up and pitch and make a powerful pitch. They spend hours and hours trying to figure out what's the most important part of their pitch, what's the problem, how can they open with that, and we've talked about Zoom. It's a world-class video conferencing. They just went public. The valuation of their company is like $20 billion now, and they basically came from nowhere. The background that I know is Eric was the #9 employee at WebEx. And WebEx grew big. Cisco bought him. So he was a vice president over all the video products at Cisco. He was a pretty wealthy person. Did that, and he was managing WebEx. And he was so unhappy because his customers weren't happy with WebEx. And he's getting paid a boatload of money. He told me this. He said, I'm getting paid a boatload of money and I wasn't happy. If I wasn't happy, my family wasn't happy, my employees weren't happy. So he left and started Zoom. Got an office and said, I'm going to do something that's going to have a major impact on the world. And it was a little bit after that Project Echo, where I'm the Chief Innovation Officer, that we identified Zoom as one of the finalists and negotiated a worldwide site license for Echo. So the important part here is that Zoom's free for 40-minute presentations or less. Now, is a 90-second pitch less than 40 minutes? Absolutely. So you can just log in. You have to set up an account. So they're going to take something to give you those free 40 minutes. They're going to take your first name, they're going to take your email address, and you can do that. But we're going to focus on Zoom. And one of the interesting things about Project Echo using Zoom is we used it, we rolled it out over, now it's 37 countries. We have 230 partners using it. The two CIOs of chief information officer at Health Sciences Center in main campus, asked me, could I talk to Eric and negotiate a deal for UNM? Well, he and I came to a deal, and Greg had a cow. Greg Holmes had a cow. He goes, that's you're just giving it away, Eric. And so, anyways, UNM ended up with still a sweetheart deal. Not what Echo has, but it's good enough. So you can get this. If you're a UNM employee, you can get Zoom and just sign up for an account. It depends which side of the Lomas you're on. You know, your Health Sciences Center, you go up there. If you're on main campus, you have an at UNM.edu. You can get it. If you're off campus, you're not a UNM folk, just get the, go to zoom.us and sign up, and you get 40 minutes free.
So I'm beginning to think this is more of a Zoom pitch more than it is about having a presentation, which is fine. But is Zoom, they own my pitch, that 40-second in the 90-second clip?
Well,
at that point?
yeah, there's dozens of ways to do this, and you can use any one you want. My job as an expert is to tell you one way that works, and it's Zoom. And if I just told you Zoom without any of the background, you'd be thinking, what the hell am I talking about? So just be real clear. I'm telling you, use Zoom. And if you don't, go ahead, you can use anything else. But in the pitch deck competition, you're gonna have to show a video or your PowerPoint or the Mac version might be, and you've got to do these things. So let's keep going.
So can I ask a question about that then? Because, so my sense of it is, I thought my students would normally just go on here and go to video and tape themselves. But the other way is to use Zoom to tape. That has probably other capabilities.
I had another one. I had one of
I know
doing
there's-
this, and they hold that, and the video comes across, and you can, again, I'm giving you what I believe to be the best way for students to record. Well, they can use these things. These things have fine cameras, but it's really tough to show a slide presentation and go off and do it. So let's get into this thing. So you can do it with video off or video on, paid account. I've started a Zoom meeting, and you share your screen. And in this case, you come over here, share screen, and you can pick what you want to share. And you want to share your, whatever you want to show. In this case, it's PowerPoint. And so here's a real world example. Is there any way to get that in there? Maybe that's mine. Stick that thing up here. So I was heading to a conference, give a talk. Yeah, I got asked to present at the international, or worldwide MEDAC group at the same time. So, I thought, I can record this thing. I could just do it live on Wi-Fi. And then I thought, I'm just going to pre-record it. So I got my presentation done. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to have this, whether you're doing it for the pitch deck or whether you're doing it for your student pitch competition, you want to have this thing written out so you're not making up words as you're going along. So you can have a script, and it can be really, really powerful. And you get that thing done, and you do view, reading view, you adjust it, you select record, and then you step through the video. And here's kind of what it looks like.
Hello, colleagues in the Meta Echo community. This is Bill Szaroletta. I'm the Senior Technology and Innovation Officer at Project Echo. And I'm going to give you a quick snapshot of Project Echo's travel distance and time savings report.
And if you haven't recorded yourself before, it's really hard. I've been in front of groups for a long time, and you're probably going to have to burn a couple of times to go through and make sure you got it. got it in good shape. But let me kick over here. And, this was all
more useful. The undercounting. Hours were saved. When you can see, we're downloading this stuff from between, and you have an order representations that we did using Google Maps, and as I show how it works, you have an origin, you have a destination, you have waypoints in between, and you have legs of a trip. We're downloading this stuff from Google, and we're going to store it in IX5. I've got all the data. Look at some.
And nobody could believe that I had done that. By the time I was at the other end, this thing had played, and I was able to join the meeting and answer any questions that people had. Now, that was my video, and I know that's a long time ago. I got more gray hair now. But if you have good front lighting, it'll show like on that side. If you don't have good front lighting, it is going to show like the witness protection program. So that's one thing. If you're doing your pitch, get a light right in front of you. If you don't have a light, have one of your colleagues sit here and do this flashlight. And hold the flashlight so you get some light, and you can do multiple things. Now, sometimes you want to have a music track. Now, this is for the pitch competition, pitch deck competition. You might want to add a music track. You might not, but indeed you can. So you can just go to insert audio and grab the audio from either your PC or somewhere else, and you put it in on the slide that you want, and then you set up the parameters. Do you want it to automatically start? Do you want it to start on click? Those are completely up to you. And here's an example what I did. This one's an old one, but on page 2 I put in this little, and that's what it looks like. It's a little, kind of speaker, or I call it a speaker. And what that means is that when you do the video, your voice can be there, and then this audio will start.
Visualizing the growth of the echo movement in just over 1 minute.
Okay, so that is something that if you do, it was my voice on the introduction, and I said what we were going to do. We were going to visualize the growth. Now let's
Visualizing the growth, visualizing the growth of the echo movement in just over 1 minute.
go to the next slide. I need to go. So I use that, in the same manner to record videos and put them up on the YouTube channel. Now, hugely important is this YouTube channel right here. For the pitch competition, the Rainforest student pitch competition, a lot of students will set up You get their video all recorded, and they go, okay, I'm entering the pitch competition, and they go, input a link to your video. It's on my computer. That isn't going to cut it. You need to have Box, Dropbox, or what I'm recommending is set up a YouTube channel and just upload it to that, and then you've got the link, and you can put that in your presentation or in your application. So,
Can you keep it private and we'll give access to somebody?
absolutely, absolutely, you can set up a private YouTube channel that it's just you, but you gotta expose it to the people that are
Right,
going to
give
be the
information to
judging.
use it, right.
Absolutely. So there's 2 books that we use in Create.Sell.Bank that are perfect for pitching. One's The Art of the Start 2.0 by Guy Kawasaki, who was one of the early employees in Apple. And the other one is Convince Them in 90 Seconds. And both books have built in there what I was saying right up at the front end is, how many have seen Shark Tank? I mean, you all have. What do? Hi, I'm Bill Szaroletta. My company is Adaptive Chaos, and I'm looking for, $400,000 for 0.01% of my company. And it's like, that's what they're used to hearing. Judges are looking down and figuring out what's the valuation of the company. The percentage. You can go divide by whatever percentage, and you can find out the valuation. That's what they're looking for. And they go, your company's not worth $400 million. Not going to do this. But open with a problem statement. What are you trying to solve? Why are you pitching? Why do you want people to, send you to the finalist round? And lead with that. And somewhere downstream, once you've got, here's the problem, here's what we're going to do to solve it, then you can say, hi, I'm Bill Szaroletta, my company is Adaptive Chaos, whatever it might be, and you can move on. So, I've had a lot of success with this. They've all used the same thing, and we've had over a dozen students that have made it to the live pitch portion. 6 of them did this in both CSB 1 and 2. And I've had 2 students that have won twice, different products and things like that. So if you can come up with a good pitch video for this Rainforest Student Pitch Competition, your odds of, even if your idea isn't as sound, you're going to capture the judge's attention more than if you have just most outstanding idea that you're taking it against a telephone pole, there's wires in the background and there's planes flying over and they can't hear you, things like that. So take the time to do a good video. And avoid saying time I need. And this is to your question. You don't want to use Zoom. No problem. I don't care. There are dozens of ways to do this. I'm just trying to boil it down so that you can do this. And one of the simplest ways is just talk into your phone. But whatever you do, anchor this thing. Because when you're talking, this thing's moving and you're moving around, and that's going to show up in your video. So set it there, and then look at that webcam, and don't take your eyes off it as you're doing your pitch. Now you can talk, you can do this stuff, but if you're doing this and moving back and forth and all that other stuff, your video is going to be less convincing than if you have your presentation right there. Now, when you're looking at the webcam, you can have an iPad or an Android tablet behind. You can have a poster board behind that has your actual pitch. Don't read it. Have the notes, the bullet points of that, because you should know your pitch well enough where you can at least open. So you know how to open and know how to close. And make sure that you're looking away from the sun when you're doing this thing. Camera at the side, you're gonna need witness protection. Now, this is really good lighting, but this is professionally done. He's got a light that's down on the floor that's shining up on the back. And he's got some lights in front that are shining on him. It's three-point lighting, and it comes across nice. Now, you know, you can say, well, he's a little bit above, but he's centered. And this is somebody that you want to listen to as opposed to, you know, doing, well, I had him in the witness protection program. So now you know how to record it. Set up a Zoom meeting, you hit, you know, share whatever you're going to share, you get your video all set up, you hit record. Best practice is to have somebody else sitting there doing the record and the stop recording, because otherwise, you know, you're looking down and you're doing that. Have somebody help you, or at least practice where they are so that you can do it yourself. How much information can you get across in 90 seconds? How much can you get across in 60 seconds? A little bit less than 90 seconds, but you can still get things across. What about 30 seconds? Madison Avenue has mastered this in advertising, how to get a lot of information across. Now, in 30 seconds, do they waste any time talking about who they are, things like that? No, they open up with the problem, they open up with this product, that you are a complete, you know, Nimrod because you haven't bought this thing before, and here's the good deal on why you want to buy it. So have your opening memorized, you know, just that first problem statement so that you can say that. Well, here it is for the Rainforest Student Pitch Competition. The deadline to enter is October 21st at 11:59 p.m. When should you try to get your MP4 file, your video file, uploaded to your YouTube channel and have that link? Not 11:58, at least 11:57. You know, give yourself a couple of minutes. You know, don't wait till the last minute.
That is literally.
You know, and you know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. You know, oh wait, I just did it. Oh, today's the pitch competition application deadline. I've got to do it. I've got to write my pitch. You know, write it and write it and write it and do it and do it. Just plan it out. Folks that are in I-Corps have a huge advantage. You've already written your pitch. You've already, for the most part, you've got that in good shape. And let me see, I'll just talk about this a little bit. There's 2 rounds. The first one is you do your 90-second pitch video, and there can't be anything else except you against a blue wall or you against, as a background, you against a white wall. That's best practice. You can do other things, but it's less effective. Record your 90-second pitch, upload it to your YouTube channel or some other place where you can get a link, and enter the competition. Judges will look at that, look at all the entries, and they'll pick 10 finalists. And they all get to go to the Bow and Arrow brewery, microbrew, and present live. And if you get selected as one of those 10, this is campus-wide, so you know you got a lot of competition. But the fact that you're here, you're way ahead of everybody else because you know how to do these pitches, and you can get cash prizes from, I think it's $250 at the low end, and you know if there's an audience choice, it's $1,000, and the winners get $750, something about like that. Yeah, this is STC and Innovation Academy that run it. So anyway, Stacy.
Yeah, Bill, just a quick question, because I think I know some of the answers to this, but in this case, let's say there's 200 entries. And then the judges, how many judges are there?
Okay, I'm going to pass this to Lisa Kutula, President and CEO of STC. She can answer.
5 judges.
And they look at it, this stack of these things, or they watch them all, and then they say, well, these 10 rows are the short list. And what criteria are they using at that point, that front end? Is it content, delivery,
Both.
workability? Is this a good product that may sell? And then is the pitch more like short things, so they're asking for money? You know, I've been to a couple of these where they weren't asking for money, they were just saying, I want your support, or something more generic.
They're not required to ask for money, but they can include that as part of their pitch. Because remember, it's pitching an idea. So not everybody's at the point where they know exactly how much it's going to get to the next stage.
So it's not necessarily an ask.
Correct.
Okay, that answers everything for that. Thank you.
But you want to give people, and the people are the 3 to 5 judges in round 1. You want to give them a reason to really like your idea, like your style of pitching. So, Shave, if you're
I know, Mr. Sacco, are you going to be a judge?
I usually know, I teach, so I encourage my students to come. In fact, I asked about 100 of them to show up today, so I don't know where they all are, because a lot of them will get to the first round at least. They don't get past your students, but so I'm always encouraging them to come. I've been a judge for other things, but not this. So I guess then the next question would be, I'm sorry, because so the 10 get up there and do their pitch. How are they selected from that to the 5 that get the money? That's more of a popularity contest.
There's one audience choice, and that's by vote, and that's $1,000 prize. And then there are 4 judges picks, and so there's a panel of judges that are
In the room, yeah.
Yeah, and the rest all get $250. The finalists. Now this is the pitch competition. So there are 2 competitions this fall. Pitch competition, which we've done twice a year for 3 or 4 years now. Yes. And then there's a pitch deck competition, which is brand new. That's right. December 2nd are the finals, and the deadline for that is November 15th.
So the catch here for me is, at least my print, college students, or anyone.
Any higher ed student in New Mexico can participate.
Okay, so I only asked about this one because this is the one that students will get pitching, so we're not college students.
all right. So there's some things about your pitch. It's got to be delivered in a single take. And you think, oh, I can just rattle this thing off. That's why you want to start early, like a week before you start recording it, because you're going to want to watch your pitch and go, that was horrible. Why did I say that? I'm going to fix the script. Why am I looking away? Why am I rocking the baby? Why can't I do this? And you're going to improve it. 2 of my students have done 40 iterations on this, and those are the 2 that won the live competition as well. So, but you got to do it in a single take. So you got 90 seconds with no break. You can't take, well, I did this video was good in the beginning, and this was good at the end, and this one was good in the middle, and then piece them all together. You can't do that. It's got to be one take. No special effects. Just these are tips from, you can see those on the flyer or on the card. Don't read from scripts or cue cards, and do it in a reasonably quiet environment. It's amazing when you think about quiet, especially when you're using Zoom and you have a good microphone. It'll pick up stomach growling. Make sure you eat. Make sure you're not playing music or television in the other room, or you're not near a open window where there's wind and things like that. Try to find a quiet spot. And there we go. We already talked about the judges, and that's where you go. stc.unm.edu/EPC for the pitch competition. And I don't know where the slide deck competition is, but.
Logorainforest.com/pitch deck.
Oh. Logorainforest.com/pitch deck. Perfect. Thanks, Kara. And, here's the pitch video, and this is what it looks like, and you just fill that thing out. And again, I just, whether it's YouTube, Vimeo, Box, whatever, however you want to open this thing up, you've got to make sure that the judges can see this. And primarily, it's going to be Kara queuing this stuff up for the judges to see. Test it. Make sure you test it. Because, hey, it works for me. Well, you're the one that set it up. Go log into another machine or have, your roommate, have somebody else, one of your friends, try to get to that link and make sure that they can indeed get to it. And if they can't, fix it. Set up the permissions so that they can get it. Because how many times does it happen that, yeah, I know. And you've invested a lot of time in this. So, like I said at the bottom, make sure you test it. And here's some of the judging criteria: presentation skills, the delivery, the slides, that'll be more for the pitch deck, the content, have you, this is have you connected the dots from the problem to your solution, to your company, to how you're going to do it? What's your product or service, the problem, target market, your ideal customer, and who your competitors. That's a lot to get in 90 seconds. But you can touch on a lot of those things. And then, of course, cost, profit, or any of these things. What's your marketing strategy? How are you going to use the funds? What's your deal? With the sharks, how are you going to do that? How was your overall presentation? Was it persuasive and convincing? Again, did you connect the dots? And did you show creativity? And that's it, swaying, moving around. And convince them in 90 seconds. There are distances. Like if I'm talking to Stacy, this is a long distance, and that's fine. As we get closer, pretty soon we're into a conversational distance. Then as you move further, you're into a personal distance. And you have to judge, are you going to put the judges off by being too close? You want to be in that optimal zone where you're having a conversation with them. So think about that, and that's, so your eyeball isn't up on the webcam. You're back far enough, but not so far back that you're just a little ant on the screen. And if you want to go to Create.Sell.Bank.com/books, and you can see how to convince them in 90 seconds, and you can just buy it on Amazon. There's a direct link there. Yeah, $1,000. There we go. Okay, so you guys have asked really good questions as we've been going along. I've shown you, how to use PowerPoint, how to use Zoom, how to use pretty much a laptop that has an integrated webcam, microphone, a speaker, and a display, the computing capability, and it's usually hooked up to the network. And you usually have an application like Zoom on there. But that's what you can do, and to record this. Again, you can go figure out multiple ways as alternatives, but I wanted you to walk out of here with one way to go do that.
So same sort of question for the second one. Let's say 200 applications come in. Where does it go from there? Is it again a team that judges that? Then gets it down to, and then those five you pitch in front of an audience again?
Yes, and the top prize is 10,000. Second prize is 5,000. Yeah, Comcast is our sponsor for this, and they've made the prizes generous. Third prize is 2,500, I think. And 1,000 for the 4 and 5.
Someone presented that.
For me.
Okay.
Very cool. All right, well, thank you. Any questions you want me to demonstrate, anything, or are you guys
I
good?
do have one more question, because this new one involves a pitch deck. So really, to me, that's not just getting up and looking happy.
That's
And
true.
The first one's more a video and you and the camera, and this one's more, you gotta work with slides.
You have to work with slides,
An outline and
and
some
we
of
do
the.
have information on the website that describes what you need to do, and there is more of a investor pitch in this one.
That's what I was gonna
With your
say.
business idea.
So do you give the students a template?
Yeah.
That's what I thought you, okay. Perfect.
And note, there were two methods here. One was the PowerPoint that was recorded without your video. But so you know how to do that, and now you know how to record a PowerPoint as you go through with your video on there. So I think that's for the pitch deck competition, the way you want to do that.
I guess what I've never seen is on the original one, the first pitch, this one, nobody ever had a slide deck that I did.
No, we don't.
This is, yeah, a step up.
You can, sometimes people will have props, and that's
I've
okay.
seen that, yeah.
But in 90 seconds, you can't do too much other than maybe hold something up as a prop.
Does handing out chocolate give you a better shot? Just kidding. That one team came with all this food and we're like, what are you doing?
Buying votes.
Buying votes, yeah.
Yeah.
So the competition, you just did your same pitch the second time for the live audience?
Well,
Modify it, but.
you may want to improve it, but your goal is to make that as good as possible, as tight as possible, communicate as much information about your company without speaking at 300 words a minute. You want to make your point. And when you're live, it is a completely different experience than talking to a webcam, this inanimate webcam. I can talk to that all day, but you're talking to a live audience. There's different people, different, reactions, people ordering beer. It's like, hey, pay attention what's going on here. So, let's just assume you're all going to make it to the finalists. What our students practice is walking up, looking at the room, and starting with their pitch. What's the problem? Because oftentimes, what's the first inclination? My problem is that I've got, I'm going to solve, have you ever, but they start talking before they're up there. Get up, look, make sure you engage the audience. Quiet can engage an audience really well. And then start your pitch. So I'm at UNM, szar@unm.edu. If you need any of this is unclear, you try it. Give me an email. Thank you. Okay, so is this, how do we stop this?
Blank Vera. Out there.
I do have one more question, because at the last one, I went to, when the first student got up there, we had a karaoke box. And oh my God, that didn't work. I don't know if you remember. So it sort of threw off the student, because it's like, they're trying to speak. The second team got up, and I thought rightly, although a little bit pushing outside the envelope, put the microphone on down and just started speaking as loud as they could. Get their teacher voice, I guess they call it. And so they came across better and weren't so much upset by that equipment failure. But, that's going to happen. But I thought, is that okay? You don't want them to wait and have the thing fixed. It's okay to just go.
It's okay to just go. you do have to be aware that sometimes then the volume is not as good as.
Right, there, and I was sitting up front so I could hear them, but I thought, oh, that night might not.
Is that the result this year?
Yeah, we've done this, what, 10 times now, the pitch competition?
Yeah, that was an
We've
anomaly.
ironed out the rough spots now.
But I like that the students just improvise, so I'm not gonna try and speak in this microphone. 'Cause- Yeah,
That's it. All right, thank you, guys.
thank you. Your class is already gone, right?